Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM on a tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 4,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload basically every single day. I know I didn't upload yesterday. I do apologize. But I'm up here at 5 a.m. recording content for y'all right now so that y'all have a video today because I'm super busy today and I got to make sure I get this video in. So I'm out here grinding. I do apologize for not getting a video up yesterday, but I would just still appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. I do try to upload every single day. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any time. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video just because tier list videos are always a tiny bit on the long side. So yeah, we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to hop right into it. We're going to start off with Mr. Steph Curry, who I do honestly think is probably a C tier PG. I think that is honestly fair. I got to be rough with these rankings. I say rough. I got to be tough with these rankings a little bit. I think he's probably B tier. I don't think C tier is completely fair. He's one of the better true short point guards in the game. But the problem with Steph is the fact that he only has a 6'3" wingspan, which is really, really short. Hotshots from everywhere is nice. 25 hops, including all the shooting badges. Nice playmaking badges. Clamps, inner, and pickpocket is nice. But he's not a great interior defender at all. He needs interior badges added as well, which you can add to gold. But he's fast, but he's just small. And his release, I wish he was on very quick. His sigs are super nice. Curry has some of the best sigs in the game, which is great. Curry slide, his size up is nice. His dribble style is the same as quick, all that. So he's got really good movement, which is great. The problem is he's really small and he's not a great interior defender. Those two things are really a significant flaw at this point in the year when everybody's running taller point guards. So for that reason, he's in the B tier. I'm sorry. S tier is MJ. MJ is the best point guard in the game. It's not even a debate. I mean, it's just not. I don't even need to waste a lot of time looking at this card. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan. Hot spots from everywhere. 25 hops, including really great hops everywhere. Only badge needed to be added is brick wall. His defensive stats are incredible. He's super fast, elite shooter, elite dunker. In my opinion, he's the best card in the game, not just point guard. Release is borderline uncontestable on current gen and still tough to contest on next gen. Quick dribble style with the best sigs in the game. I mean, he's literally as perfect of a card as we have in the game. He is the best card in the game. Easily S tier. There's just no debate at this point. Penny Hardaway. Why is the tier list not working? Why did I put Darren Fox in? Okay, there we go. It's working now. Weird. I don't know why that was bugging. But Penny Hardaway, I think this card isn't bad, but he's so outdated at this point. That's the problem. He's got decent-ish, acceptable kind of stats. They're not great, though. Only 4 hops, and they're not great hops either. Doesn't get clamps at all. Doesn't get hyperdrive, quick chain, limitless spot up, blinder, chef. So there's a lot of badges he doesn't get. Jump shot is on normal, and it's not a good jumper, even for a normal timing jumper. Quick dribble style is good, but his movement is, it's not terrible, I guess, but he's not super fast. His badges are not elite at all. He's missing a lot of key badges. Despite being 6'7" with decent sigs, I just don't think he's any better than C tier. He's not a terrible card. I really do believe that, but he's just not very good anymore. So unfortunately, I feel like the C tier is probably the fairest spot to put him. Darren Fox is either, I'm actually going to go D tier with Darren Fox because he has a minute player build, like truly tiny minute player build. He might be C tier. 6'3" with a 6'6" wingspan though. The thing is he doesn't look close to 6'3". He looks like 6 foot 6'1". Hot spots from 3 out of 5 spots is nice, I guess. Hoffs are meh. I mean, quick first step, ankle breaker, clamps, ankle braces, catch and shoot. Some finishing ones are good. He's really fast, decent dunker, good shooter, and okay defensive stats, but he's really small again. Not a great interior defender. Jump shot is on normal. I'm sorry. I might move you up to C, but for now, I think you go in the D tier. I'm just not a huge fan of Darren Fox. I think Jalen Green is good enough that I can put him in the A tier. I know he's a diamond point guard, so putting him in the A tier does seem a little bit high. But the thing about Jalen Green is he's a pretty well-rounded card. 9 hops. He's got some good ones, include quick first step, limitless, good finishing badges, nice speed, acceptable defensive stats. I know his interior defense and block are pretty low, especially the interior, but he does have good size at 6'6" and a solid player build. Really nice offensive card, especially though. Defensively, he's not great. I know he needs defensive badges added as well, but offensively, he's really, really good. Has a nice, super quick and super easy to gain release as well, and good sigs, quick dribble style, Kobe size up, so he's got decent half-court sigs as well. Overall, he's a really, really good offensive card. Not a horrendous defensive card, but not great, but he is definitely one of the best budget point guards in the game, and A tier, I think, is where he deserves to go. Gary Payton, the biggest flaw with Gary Payton is one of two things. I mean, he is 6'4", so he's not super big, but the stats are good. I mean, obviously, his dark matter stats are great. Defensive badges are great. Playmaking badges are acceptable. Shooting badges are, I mean, he needs Limitless added. He needs Blinders. He needs Chef. He needs Rebound Chaser, Rim Protector, Rim Brick Wall, things like that. The problem with the card is the fact that he's got Jump Shot 40 on normal. That is easily his biggest flaw. I mean, not being 6'4" does hurt, but there are other 6'4" point guards like Dwayne Wade who are really, really good options. And having a jumper like Jump Shot 40, which again, not an incredible jumper, especially on normal, that does hurt. And that makes him, even as a collector level card, just not all that worth it. You know what? Is he B or C? I think we're putting him in C. I'm sorry. There's enough good point guards in the game right now. I think he is going to the C tier. He might get moved back up to B tier, but for now, I think C tier is where he deserves to go. Magic Johnson is an A tier point guard, mostly because he's 6'9" with solid stats. Like, look at the card. 6'9" with 7-foot wingspan. He's got great size. Pretty solid all-around stats. Badges are also pretty solid all-around. Wish he had more shooting and defensive badges. And he does need shooting and defensive badges added as well. Magic release on quick is still not a fast release. That's it's equivalent to a lot of other releases on normal, so that's not great. And he has fundamental dribble style instead of quick or shifty. So those two things definitely do hurt the card. But he is 6'9" with elite mashing ability, really solid all-around stats and badges. Definitely a very, very solid card, and I think A tier is where he deserves to go. Salim is going B tier for one reason and one reason only, and that is that I have a ton of fun using the card. Some of y'all may think he's terrible. I know he's only 6'1". He's tiny. He can't dunk. I don't care. He doesn't have any defense either. I don't care. Half Limitless, half Mismatch. Every gold playmaking and shooting badge you want. Base 3 on quick with a great release. A great upper. Quick dribble style. Kyrie and Trae Young Sigs with Pippa behind the back. The same Sigs that Jordan has. He's so much fun to use, and he is such an elite 3-hunting card. Does he do anything else well? No. But I don't care. He's so much fun to use. He's a B tier point guard to me. Lonzo Ball. Does Lonzo make the top? Because there's like 1, 2, 3 guys that I'm definitely putting above Lonzo. Is Lonzo that? That's tough. I don't think I'm putting Lonzo in S tier. I'm sorry. I love you, Lonzo. You're the best point guard in A tier, but I don't think you quite make the S tier for me personally. Lonzo's a great card. Don't get me twisted. The problem with Lonzo is the fact that he still has a jumper on normal, but he has good size at 6'6". Badge-wise, does need like Rim Protector, Brick Wall, some shooting badges, like a Limitless Blinders, Chef added, maybe Limitless Takeoff as well. So definitely want to badge him out fully, but he's got good speed. He's a really good shooter, solid dunker, really well-rounded defender, great playmaking and defensive badges. Jumper is smooth and easy to green, just not particularly fast. And shifty dribble style is nice. Kobe size up is nice. Pro tip between the legs, also nice. He's got solid sigs. Overall, good card. Wish the jumper was a little faster, but he still is the best point guard in A tier, in my personal opinion. Donovan Mitchell is going D tier because of how small he is and the fact that he doesn't. I know he's 6'1", just like Salim, but and he's got a better wingspan than Salim, and statistically, he's way better than Salim, and badge-wise, same thing, way better than Salim. I don't care. Salim is super fun to use. Donovan Mitchell, not as much. His jumper is only on normal timing, which kills him, especially with jump shot 4 not being that great on normal. Shifty dribble style, decent sigs, but not great, especially the full court sigs. I'm sorry. This is my list. I'm putting you in D tier. I'm just not a fan of the card. Bill Sharman, I actually think you could make the argument is F tier. Just not a good card. He's only 6'1", so he's tiny, just like Donovan Mitchell, but he can't dunk at all. So, like Salim, can't dunk. Badge-wise, he's great, but really horrible interior defense. Like horrible interior defense is the issue. And SIGs aren't bad, but they're not the Trae Young SIGs, and you really need the Trae Young SIGs to be any higher than. I mean, I know his jumper is good, and his SIGs are acceptable, and his stats are good, his badges are good, and all that. Like, he's not a bad card, but he's just not good enough. I'm sorry. I think it's hard to put him in F tier and have Salim in B tier. I think I'm kind of trolling with that, but I am going to keep him in F tier because of how small he is and the fact that he can't dunk the ball. I'll just move Salim down to C to even it out a bit. Walt Frazier is... actually, I think they changed his dribble style, so I think he has shifty now, so I think he's acceptable. 6'4" with a 6'7" wingspan, 95 speed and excel. Defensive and playmaking badges, basically needs defensive badges and shooting badges added, as well as quick chain. Jumper is 36 on quick, which is still not that good. Shifty dribble style is nice, but the rest of his SIGs aren't that good. He's C tier. I think that's pretty fair. He's not a great card, but he's not completely awful. I think that's a very fair spot to put him. D Rose probably goes B tier next to Steph. Honestly, kind of similar to Steph, better slasher instead of shooter, but they both have really good SIGs. D Rose has some of the best SIGs in the game, which is super nice. He's a little bit bigger than Steph with a little better player build as well. 15 hops include finishing badges, mismatch expert, quick first step, ankle braces, clamps. Defensive stats are mediocre, and he's not great on the interior as well. So despite the fact that his SIGs are really fun, even on normal, his jumper is nice and fast. He's just not a top point guard in the game, just like Steph. So I think he deserves to slot in at that D tier. Honestly, I think Jeremy Lin probably... I'm starting to think that Jeremy Lin might not be able to slide into the B tier. I'm sorry. I might even have to move Derrick Rose down because I'm looking at this list, and I got to be a little bit stingy because there are definitely some good point guards coming up. And Jeremy Lin having, again, a release that is just not that great. It definitely does hurt the card. He's only 6'5", so, or 6'3", not even 6'5", 6'3", which is not very good size. And he's got jump shot 40 on normal against the same base as Gary Payton. And if it held Gary Payton back, it's going to hold Jeremy Lin back too. Sigs, solid, not crazy, but definitely good. His full court Sigs are perfect, but the Sigs in the half court are pretty good as well. Badge-wise, pretty solid. Not the greatest badges except for defensively. Needs brick wall, rim protector, chase down, post lockdown, limitless mismatch. Like, that's 6 badges right there, and he only has 5 badge slots, so that does hurt a little bit. But overall, he's a good card. He's just small and has not a great jumper. And again, that's the type of thing that does hold you back on a list like this. Russ, 2 words, slash or dribble style. That might be 3 words, but yeah, no. I mean, you have a bad dribble style and your release, which is already slow on normal. I don't care what your stats, badges, any of that look like. You have no dribble style, you're 6'3", and you don't have a great jumper. That is a D tier card. Only reason I'm not putting F tier because the stats and badges are still absolutely amazing. But yeah, not a card for me. Tony Kukoc is a really solid budget PG option. I know he is only an amethyst, but he's 6'10" at PG, which is really, really valuable height. 7'2" wingspan as well. Now, can he do a lot for you on the offensive end of the court? He's not going to create a ton of shots. He can shoot wide open, can dunk, and has acceptable speed, especially for a 6'10" guy, but he needs some interior badges and shooting badges still. Brook Lopez release on quick is super nice, but fundamental dribble style is not going to make him an elite shot creator. Although I guess he can be your secondary or tertiary ball handler. More of a guy who helps you match up to other big players in the game. Gives you versatility because of his size. Not quite as good as a guy like Magic, but still a solid card, so B tier is a fair tier for him. Clyde Drexler, I do believe, is in the S tier. Definitely an absolute dog at the PG position. 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan, 25 hops. Include really well-rounded hops from all of these areas. Incredible stats as well. It's one of the most well-rounded cards in the game statistically. A very nice release on quick. Jump shot 5 is good. And quick dribble style as well, which is the best dribble style in the game, despite the fact that the rest of his SIGs aren't elite. Yeah, but he's a solid all-around card. Like, I think Clyde is the second best point guard in the game behind Jordan. Definitely do believe that he deserves his spot in this list 100%. And I think that the S tier is going to be the most deserving spot for a guy like Clyde Drexler. Pete Maravich. I think Pete is like C or B. I don't really know, to be completely honest. The one problem with Pete is similar to a lot of these other cards. He's got his release on normal. That being said, it is Ray Allen base, which is a very, very solid base. Shifty dribble style as well as acceptable SIGs, and the LeBron Pro 2 between the legs, which is nice. 96 speed and excel, good shooter, good dunker, solid defender. He is 6'5" as well, which is acceptable height with a decent wingspan. Really good shooting and playmaking badges despite not having elite defensive badges. I think he's good enough that he's in the B tier. He's a solid all-around PG option. LaMelo, another solid all-around PG option. The problem with LaMelo is the fact that he's got slasher dribble style, but he is 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he does help make up for that with his size and his versatility on the defensive end of the court. 89 speed and excel is fine. Good shooting badges, decent acceptable playmaking badges, and half interceptor are nice. Jump shot 81 on normal. It's nice, and it's honestly pretty fast for a normal jump shot, similar to Derrick Rose timing, so that definitely isn't a flaw with him the way that it is with other cards with normal jump shot timing. Movement isn't great though. That is one of the things that is annoying. I'm looking forward to a better LaMelo with good movement, and that will be one of the best point guards in the game whenever we do get that card. But for now, I do still think he's in the B tier because of his super solid all-around size. Ja Morant is probably the best point guard in B tier so far, to be completely honest. He is a very, very good option. I considered putting him in A tier, and I think you could honestly make the argument that he is an A tier point guard. For me personally, I am going to leave him at the top of the B tier, but he's definitely a very, very solid option. 6'3" with 6'7" wingspan, hotspots for everywhere, 24 hops, include finishing badges, catch, limitless, sniper, really good playmaking badges as well as ankle braces, clamps, pogo stick, really good perimeter defense, even acceptable interior defense and block. Really great dunker, speed, acceleration, shooting. PG release on quick is really good. Quick dribble style, also very, very good. Kobe size up, Kawhi profile behind the back, so he's got a full court SIG as well. Overall, very, very versatile card. Statistically and badge-wise is incredible. Unfortunately, again, a little undersized. That's very important, but he is a very, very solid option at that B tier, and I might even consider moving up to A tier. I wouldn't be opposed to putting him in the A tier, I'll say that. 6'6" and 6'8" wingspan for Spencer Dinwiddie is very, very nice. 93 speed and excel is really good. Good shooter, decent dunker, decent defender. Half quick first, chef, limitless are some good badges to have, though that's nice. Again, needs defensive badges added to him, but he does have a nice release. Jump shot 77 on normal. I guess it's not great, but it's not terrible. I've used it on his amethyst. It's not bad. Shifty dribble style as well. well is good. Pro 2 between the legs. The rest of his SIGs aren't that great, but he does look pretty solid all the way around. Unfortunately, because he's not a great defender, who does need defensive badges, things like that, that does hurt him. And the jump shot being a normal, even though it's a solid enough jump shot, isn't great. So for that reason, he still does fall somewhere into that B tier. Caden Cunningham, I believe, is the third PG in S tier right now. Probably the fourth best point guard in my team right now, in my personal estimation. 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. Hot spots from 3 out of 5 spots. 17 hoffs include really, really great shooting and playmaking badges. No defensive hoffs, but at 6'8", that does help to make up for it with his size, especially if you add the other gold badge that he's missing. Solid enough defensive stats, solid enough speed and shooting and dunking as well. Jump shot is 80 on quick, which is the same basis guys like Jamal Murray. Nice and smooth, easy to green, pretty darn good jumper with shifty dribble style, the D-Rose combo. Pro 3 behind the back, so he's got decent full court and half court SIGs as well. Overall, really, really good card. Definitely an S tier PG in my personal opinion. DeMar DeRozan is another A tier PG 100% in my opinion. Another guy who's solid, 6'7" with 6'9" wingspan, hotspots from 4 out of 5 spots, 20 hoffs including great finishing, shooting, and playmaking badges, as well as hoff pogo stick. The problem, 60 interior. It's a big problem. 75 block, not that great. At 6'7", we can overlook it, but defensive stats are mediocre. No Hoff defensive badges. Doesn't get chef at all, which is a very important badge for a primary ball handler to have, and he's not going to get that, so that hurts. Needs badges like blinders, limitless, brick wall, rim protector still added as well. So he's not complete. He's missing a couple badges. He does not have great Hoffs at all, and release is really good. Movement is solid, but unfortunately, I don't think he's good enough to be in the S tier. I was hoping this card would be incredible. Not quite as good as I was hoping, but still an A tier option at the point guard position. Rafer Alston. I haven't looked at this card, but I assume he's probably not very good. 6'2" and 6'4" wingspan. That's not a good sign. 80 driving dunk is acceptable. All playmaking badges, which doesn't help, especially when you're 6'2". You need those defensive badges. Trey work release on quick is good, and quick dribble style is nice. I'm sure his SIGs are fine, but really horrible interiors. Well, no, this card stinks. I'm sorry. You have no interior and you're 6'2". You are not playing on anybody's squad. That is an F tier card to me. Luca Doncic, I believe, is probably about the 5th best point guard on current gen. He's either the 1st or 2nd on next gen, which is very, very valuable, obviously. And Luca's an amazing card, obviously. He's very, very good. 6'7" with 6'8" wingspan. Hot spots from everywhere. 95 speed and excel. 95 shot 3. Good dunker. Really good shooter. I'm sorry, defender. Shooting badges, he's got basically everything that you could ask for. Same thing with the playmaking. And then Hoff, clamps, and interceptor are 2 of the best defensive badges in the game to have on Hoff as well, which is super nice. Only needs a couple badges. Brick wall and rim protector added as well. Jumper is very hard to contest, especially on next gen, but even on current gen, it can be a bit tough to contest as well. And then shifty dribble style is good. The rest of his Luka SIGs aren't great, but is with the jumper that he has, especially on next gen, he's super glitchy. And even on current gen, solid movement, good size, all those things, still an S tier point guard to me. Harden is another one of those A tier point guards. Not terrible, but not quite elite enough to make it toward that S tier. Definitely a guy who fits pretty well here. I'd say 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. Looks a little taller than 6'5". 15 hoffs include mostly shooting badges, as well as dimer, quick chain, things like that. 94 speed and excel, really good shooter, acceptable dunker. His dunks don't get blocked much, which is nice. And then defensive stats are pretty solid as well, even though he does need defensive badges added. Harden release on normal is one thing I will complain just a little bit about. I don't think it's horrendous, but I don't think it's great either. I'd much rather see a Harden with his release on quick or even very quick in the near future. And he's got fundamental dribble style. So there's a couple things there that aren't going great for him, but I still feel like Harden plays really, really well in 2K. I do think he's still a super solid card, and I do think he deserves that spot in the A tier, regardless of the fact that he may not be quite as good anymore as he's been in the past. Kyrie, C tier. I mean, he's mid. I'll be completely honest. He's much better in real life than he is in 2K. 6'3" with a 6'4" wingspan. He can dunk a little bit, I guess. No defensive badges, though. Really mediocre interior and block. It's the same story with him, especially with his release not being on very quick, because his release on quick is really not very quick. And then SIGs are good, but he's too small. I mean, put simply, he's just very, very small, which does hurt the card 100%. For that reason, I think he's really no higher than C tier. Damian Lillard, maybe B tier or top of C tier. The problem with Dame is that his SIGs aren't good, so that's another thing that kind of hurts him, in addition to the fact that he is undersized at only 6'2". Badges are pretty good, mostly shooting badges, a couple finishing and playmaking badges as well. Another card with a 49 block CCA interior, which is terrible. Nice jumper, but SIGs are not great, although I guess this is like quick dribble style, but the rest of his SIGs aren't very good. I'll be honest, I just don't think he's very good. I think he slots into the C tier. Not a horrendous card, but another not elite option at the point guard position. So I think he does slot in, again, around that C tier. Jaylen Rose. Jaylen Rose is A tier, 100%. He's better than a guy like James Harden. I put Harden A tier. So I think Jaylen Rose definitely deserves that spot. He's got decent speed, 88 speed and excel. It's not great, but he is 6'8", so that is very nice. Can boost a shoe as well on him. Another card with no defensive badges, but when you're 6'8", you really don't need him as much because you have the size, and size is so important defensively this year. So that's super nice to have. Jumper is nice and fast as well, even on normal, which is nice. Quick dribble style, profile behind the back. It's got full court and half court sigs. Overall, really good option at 6'8". Nice little budget point guard who may not be super budget, but definitely a very, very usable option for a reasonable price. Isaac Bonga. You know, I was tempted to put Bonga in the A tier. I think I'm going to go B tier because he doesn't have an elite dribble style or anything, but he is 6'8" with decent speed. Hoff badges are only floor general and pluckable, no Hoff defensive badges or anything, and he still needs shooting badges and defensive badges added as well. But he's got decent speed, decent defensive stats. Set shot 14 on quick is the best set shot in the game. Fundamental dribble style is not great. He's a good card. Wish he had more Hoffs. Looking forward to a higher tier Isaac Bonga. I do think he is still a solid enough option, and I think B tier is the fair spot for him. SGA, I just do not think is very good. I'll be completely honest. 6'11" wingspan, so not the greatest of size, but not the tiniest. 15 Hoffs, decent speed. Hoffs are, I guess, acceptable. Defensive stats are also acceptable. Problem is slash dribble style. That's an issue. Jump shot 91 on normal. It's not horrible, but it's not great at all either. So that doesn't help his case either. And overall, he's just, I don't know. He's not bad. He's one of the best cards in B tier, possibly the best, but I don't think he quite deserves to be in that A tier still. All right, Ben Simmons. You know what? I'm going to put Ben Simmons in B tier. This is not a card I ever used on my account. I don't think he's all that good. I know that he's a really good defender, and he's 6'11". He can play the point guard position. He's a really good slasher, and I saw quick first step as well, but he's got power dribble style, and no shooting badges, and that definitely is not a recipe for success. No brick wall or rim protector either. Jump shot is good, but it'll be better when it's on quick and he gets shooting badges and a 93-pointer. I'll say it that way. And the movement, like I said, is definitely not good at all. So he's good, especially defensively, which is nice. Offensively, really mediocre unless you just run into the rim. So I do think he does deserve his spot in the B tier. Excuse me. Darius Garland. Let's take a look at this Darius Garland card. I really don't know. 6'9" with 6'1" wingspan. That's not good. Horrible interior defense as well. Oh my gosh, no defensive badges. So he's tiny, not a great dunker. Sigs are acceptable, but not great. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Got to fill up the D tier. He is too small. No interior defense at all. That's just not good enough. I'm sorry, DG. You got to go in the D tier. Evan Turner is the best amethyst point guard in the game. He is A tier, I do believe. Really solid all-around card. He's 6'7" with a 6'8" wingspan at PG, which is nice in of itself. But he's got 90 speed and excel. 2 Hoffs include limitless, which is a nice one to have. Good shooter, dunker, and solid defender. Solid all-around badges already as well. Does need some defensive badges still worked on, but jumper is nice and fast. Jump shot 22 on quick is a good jumper, and he's got shifted dribble style with the Kobe size up as well. So he's got good sigs. I mean, for a super budget PG, Evan Turner is definitely your best option in the game right now, and I do think he does still deserve that spot in the A tier. Sidney Monocrief is another guy who probably deserves to be in the D tier, maybe the C tier, but not a great card at all. If my internet would load. 6'3" with 6'6" man has solid size, good speed, shifty dribble style, I guess, acceptable release, solid enough sigs. Unfortunately, needs a lot of badges added, like a limitless takeoff, a bunch of shooting badges as well, and some interior badges like brick wall, both post lockdown and rim protector. So that's probably more than he has space for. And he's not a great defender, a little undersized. He can dunk, I guess, and his sigs aren't horrible with an acceptable jumper. I don't know. I think he might be he might be C tier because I've put a lot of mediocre cards in the C tier. So to be completely honest, I'll be fair and I'll put him in the C tier as well. Then we have Wade. Wade is like the third best point guard in the game, probably in my opinion, at least on current gen. I'd probably do the order for the top 5, something like this. And yeah, Wade is 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan, so admittedly he's small, but he is a stud. Super fast, incredible defender, really good dunking stats, really good shooting as well. Badges are really well-rounded, has some of the best badges in the game as well, is what I love to see. Jumper is amazing, again, one of the best in the game. Quick dribble style, the Kobe sides up is super nice as well. Even the Lillard behind the back is in a pretty acceptable behind the back to wear as a SIG. So overall, really, really good card. I do think Wade is an S tier PG. And then you have Arvida Sabonis, who is the lowest ranked card in A tier 100%. Another the first Ruby point guard, maybe on this list, period. And Sabonis is really glitchy. 7'3" and 7'6" wingspan at point guard is not something to be overlooked, especially when he already has 76 speed. So then you put a shoe and a coach on that, and all of a sudden you're looking at something speeding in the mid to high 80s, depending on the coach. Hoff Dimers is only Hoff, but he's got acceptable enough badges besides that. Does need quick for step, but you know what? We can live without it. And 92 shot 3 is super nice. The thing about him is he's so cheesy yet so big, especially if you add a shoe to him. He does become a pretty solidly quick card, or solid quick player, and just overall really, really good option. And yeah, really good card. And for that reason, I do think he's probably A tier just because of his ridiculous versatility and how useful he can really be. So for me, that is still an A tier guy. And then finally, we got CP3. Need I say more? I mean, he's 6 foot. Plain and simple, he's 6 foot. I know his stats are acceptable, his interior is acceptable, his badges are acceptable. He's 6 foot. He's too small. I'm sorry. Love you, CP3, but the release isn't even that quick, especially on a player as short as you. And yeah, I'm sorry. I love you, Chris Paul, but this card is another D tier option. So finally, this is the list that I have made up of the top point guards in the game. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below. Who did I rank too high? Who did I rank too low? And yeah, everything in between. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace. If you need cheap, safe, and reliable MT to build the God Squad that you've always wanted, go to NBA2King.com and use code JC2K at checkout for 5% off.